As you know, gentlemen, we are here to help safeguard the first democratic elections Cuba's seen since before Batista took control. Since Castro's death in 2006, the Cuban people have had a succession of increasingly incompetent thugs in charge, and thankfully, that's going to change. The elections are going to occur in early May, and our job is to make sure that they go off without a hitch. What that means is that we've been volunteered to make sure the elements who want to bring back the bad old days don't get a chance to win the elections at gunpoint. Your first assignment is a basic contraband seizure. One of our patrol helicopters spotted a light cargo plane dropping a few suspicious-looking crates over an abandoned tobacco plantation. The chopper crew was able to drive off the men who were moving the crates once they landed, but they need ground support to do the job properly. Seeing as the troops trying to haul those crates off look a lot like the guerrillas who've been reported bullying voters in a few of the western cities, we're not taking any chances. Your orders are simple. You'll be inserted by helicopter on the plantation grounds. Once you're en route, the patrol chopper will peel off and leave the ground troops to you. Take control of the old plantation buildings first, as that's what the guerrillas are using for cover. Then, secure those packages by clearing out the troops around them. They'll probably make an effort to retrieve them once the helicopter leaves, so things will be happening in a hurry. Excellent work on the plantation, gentlemen. We were able to analyze the contents of those packages. As you might have suspected, they were chock full of guns. We don't know who dropped them off, but we do know whom they were intended for. The troops you ran across are part of the paramilitary forces that we think are linked to the FDG, one of the parties standing a candidate for election. Publicly, they're all about vote against the puppets of the American imperialists, but disavowing violence. Privately, they seem to be a little more aggressive than that. We've gotten reports that bands of these thugs have been going up and down the countryside, intimidating people into not voting and making things unpleasant for supporters of the opposition parties. The good news is, we've also managed to locate what we think is one of their training bases. It's up in the hills of Pinar del Rio, which means that getting a lot of troops there isn't easy. That's why you're going in. Your mission is to locate and neutralize the training camp. Take out the guard towers that cover the approaches, then seize the camp itself. Be careful. The troops inside may not be fully trained yet, but Recon images indicate that there are a lot of them. As you probably know, the camp in Pinar del Rio you hit wasn't the only one the FDG was using. We've been hitting other ones as we find them. Unfortunately, they've started to hit back. An MV-22 with a full complement of Marines on board was en route to neutralize a camp up in the Sierra de los Órganos when it was shot down. Apparently, the FDG's been able to get their hands on a good part of what used to be the Cuban Army's arsenal, since it looks like it was a good old-fashioned Russian SAM that took the MV-22 out. The terrain you're going into is steep, rocky, and difficult. It's also in the middle of nowhere, so anyone you run into is liable to be an FDG soldier. Your first priority once you hit the ground will be the survivors. Find any you can and get them to safety. You're also going to need to find the source of the SAM that took out the Osprey and eliminate it. Once you do that, we'll be able to send in a chopper and pick you up at the evac zone. However, until the SAM launcher is taken out, we're not going to risk another bird. If you can, pick up the USMC code books from the downed aircraft. We don't want those falling into enemy hands. Good luck, people. Buckle up, people. You're going to Isla de la Juventud, 100 miles south of the main island. Batista used it for political prisoners, but Castro turned it into a tourist trap. The beaches are nice, but half the island's still swamp, and guess what part you're going to be seeing? The FDG's got an airfield right in the middle of one of those swamps, on the western side of the island. They've been using it for weapons transfers. The plane that dropped off those packages you recovered on the tobacco plantation flew out of there, and to dabble in the drug trade. By shutting it down, we shut down one of their primary supply pipelines. You'll be inserted by boat on this one, so be prepared. Your two main objectives are the airfield itself and the ammunition storage dump nearby. Seize one, and then plant the demolition charges to destroy the other. After that, get out as quickly as you can. With the way things are going on the main island, we don't expect the airfield is heavily defended, but that's no guarantee. It looks like morale's starting to drop on the other side. We're still getting reports of FTG squads hitting villages on the western side of the island, but we're seeing more defectors every day. With the elections coming up in less than a month, this is a good sign. The biggest turncoat is a man named Esteban Ordóñez, who until 3 days ago was a high-ranking official in the Priego presidential campaign. Priego's the FTG's candidate, and he's also the one calling the shots on the military side of things. Obviously, getting someone this close to Priego to switch sides is a tremendous break for us. The bad news is that we got a call from Ordóñez about 20 minutes ago. It seems that his assistant figured out that he was going to turn and ratted him out. He ran for it with an armload of FTG documents, which he hid as soon as he was out of sight. Unfortunately, they caught up to him a few minutes later. We know this because he was literally on the phone with our people when they found him. We don't think he's dead, but that could change at any minute. Your mission is to rescue Ordóñez and get those papers. Find where he hid the parcel, then find him and bring him back alive. Our first flyover of the region showed that they moved a BMP in, so you may want to take that out as well. Remember, they're not going to keep Ordóñez alive much longer, so there's real time pressure on this one. Best of luck to you, gentlemen. Now get to work. Happy Election Day, people. We've got trouble. The polls don't open for another hour, but FTG sympathizers all over the country are already making a mess of things wherever they can. We need every available soldier out there safeguarding voting centers, and that means you get to go along on this one too. You'll be going to one of the worst trouble zones, a coastal city called Cienfuegos. The FTG's got a lot of support there, and according to reports, they've gunned down people heading for one of the main polling centers. Your job is to go in and safeguard that voting center and make sure that people can actually get to it to vote. If they want to vote FTG once they get inside, fine, that's their choice. The point is to make sure they all get that choice. Safeguarding the polling center is your highest priority. There are FTG forces in the streets all around it, so you'll have to keep an eye out in all directions. There are also reports that civilians have been taken hostage by the FTG. If that's the case, find those hostages and get them out of harm's way. Finally, you'll want to locate and knock out the local FTG command post. Remember this, safeguarding these elections is why we're here. Everything else is secondary. Let's do this right. Saddle up. This is a hot one. It turns out the FDG's drug connection was stronger than we thought. Priego is essentially owned by Colombian interests, and by Colombian interests, I mean FARC. They were hoping that he'd assume power and turn Cuba into a depot for cocaine heading north into Florida. In the wake of the election results, that's obviously not going to happen, so Priego asked his bosses for help. They sent a few boatloads of their troops to reinforce the FDG soldiers, and that's what we have to deal with right now. The FARC troops are hitting the beach near Dimas, and they're hitting it hard. We'll be able to get more troops there later, but right now, you're all we've got. Disable the vehicle column the Colombian troops will be using to get off the beach, then hold the beach itself. The FARC soldiers will have FDG reinforcements coming in, so be prepared to be hit by a second wave. Finally, seize the jetties and any supplies the enemy's placed on them. They've set up a makeshift command outpost complete with an automatic grenade launcher on one of the jetties. Make sure you take that out as well. Priego's run out of allies and he's run out of room. We've rounded up most of the armed FTG supporters in the countryside and routed the FARC reinforcements. The big boys in Colombia have decided to cut their losses, which means that Priego's got nothing left. He's retreated to an old hilltop fortress in the Sierra de los Órganos with the last of his supporters. You get the honor and the privilege of digging him out. The fortress is 1920s vintage, but it's situated on top of a steep hill and it's got well-placed external guard posts. Neutralize those guard posts and then take the fortress. Priego's inside with the best of his elite guards. They won't be easy to dig out, but we want Priego alive. Dead, he becomes a martyr, and that's the last thing the new Cuban government needs. Make sure he doesn't escape. There's a helicopter pad behind the fortress complex, so you'll need to make sure he doesn't make a run for that. If he gets away, this whole mess has the potential to start all over again. You know what you have to do, people. Now let's go do it.